All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling a really big question in the sustainability world. How do we actually connect those huge, ambitious corporate goals with what's really happening on the ground, project by project? We're going to tear into GPM Sustainability Reporting Guide to find a practical way to make our reporting truly authentic. So, let's get to it.
And let's kick things off with the one question this guide really wants us to wrestle with. Take a hard look at your projects. Are they genuinely sustainable? Are they operating within the planet's actual limits? Or are they just a little bit better than they were last year? Just less bad. It's a tough but crucial question, and it's pretty much at the heart of everything we're about to unpack.
And to even begin to answer that, we've got to talk about a huge problem in the industry, what's called the sustainability reporting gap. This is that massive disconnect between the lofty promises companies make in the boardroom and the messy reality of the projects they actually run.
We've all seen these goals, right? They look amazing on a website or in an annual report. Achieve net zero by 2040. Enhance social equity. Build climate resilience. These are the big, public commitments that organizations love to make. They set the vision.
But here's the absolute kicker. Those grand strategies, they don't happen in a PowerPoint deck. They either come to life or they completely fall apart at the project level. Projects are where we're actually pouring concrete, hiring people, and using resources. It's where all the real sustainability impacts are generated. And so that, right there, is the gap. Corporate reports love to talk about high-level strategy, but they so often miss the actual data from the very projects that are supposed to be making it all happen. Without that project-level data, a sustainability report is really only telling you half the story, at best.
Okay. So this brings us to another huge idea, the real danger of just thinking incrementally. We're all kind of trained to see any improvement as a win. But when we're talking about sustainability, just being better often isn't anywhere near good enough.
In this example, just nails it. A 30% reduction in your carbon footprint? That sounds fantastic, right? But what if your fair share of the carbon budget is, say, 10 tons, and you were emitting 40 tons? Well, a 30% cut still leaves you pumping out 28 tons. That's almost 3 times what's actually sustainable. You're better, for sure, but you're still a huge part of the problem.
And this lays out the two mindsets so perfectly. On one side, you've got incremental thinking. It's always looking backward, Hey, we cut emissions by 25% compared to last year. But on the other side, you have context-based thinking, which measures your impact against real-world, science-based limits. It tells you the honest truth. Our emissions are 80% above our fair share. One feels good, the other one is actually useful.
Now, if you're in this world at all, you know the feeling of being totally drowned in reporting frameworks. It's a lot. You've got GRI, and then there's SASB, which is now part of the ISSB.
Oh, and don't forget TCFD, which is getting folded into IFRS S2.
And of course, everyone's favorite, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. It's a total alphabet soup, and honestly, it can be completely bewildering.
Okay, let's just quickly decode this mess. Think of it this way. GRI is all about looking outward. How does your project affect the world? SASB and the ISSB are looking inward. How do all those sustainability issues affect your company's bottom line? TCFD is laser-focused on climate risk, and the SDGs, they help you connect your project to the big global goals. They're all different lenses, but the one thing they all desperately need is good project-level data.
So, what's the solution here? Well, we fundamentally need a new way to think about all this. The guide calls for a huge shift from what it calls monocapitalism to multi-capitalism. And this is not just some new buzzword. It's about completely changing how we define what a successful project even is.
So in the old model, monocapitalism, the only thing that really matters is financial capital, right? Natural resources are just free inputs. People are just labor costs you try to minimize. And community trust, that's just a reputational risk you have to manage. But the multi-capitalist approach, it flips that entire script. It says our job is to steward all the vital capitals. Natural capital has to be measured against real-world limits, human capital needs to be nurtured for well-being, and social capital has to be actively built to earn that trust and consent.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? This is where the guide gets really practical, giving us the tools to build a bridge from all that project-level chaos to clear, authentic corporate reporting. Let's see how it works. The two key tools to get this done are the P5 standard and something called the Sustainability Management Plan, or SMP. Think of these as the pillars and the roadway of our bridge. They provide the actual structure to get you all the way from identifying an impact on the ground to getting it into a corporate disclosure.
And the whole thing kicks off with P5. This is a really simple but incredibly powerful framework to make sure you're not missing anything. It forces you to look at your project's impact through 5 crucial lenses: its effect on people, on the planet, on overall prosperity, the sustainability of the product itself, and the sustainability of the process you're using to create it.
And what you get is this super clear, logical workflow. Step 1, use 5 to identify all your potential impacts, the good and the bad. Step 2, apply a materiality test to figure out which ones are actually significant. Step 3, you document and actively manage those key topics in your sustainability management plan. And finally, Step 4, that structured, verified data flows right into your corporate reports. It's a clean path from action to real accountability.
So, when you put this all together, where does it take you? Well, by bridging this reporting gap, we can start to see sustainability not as just a simple pass-fail test, but as a journey of increasing maturity that takes us from just being less bad all the way to becoming a truly regenerative force.
Think of this journey in 3 stages. Most organizations, let's be honest, start at level 1, the incremental stage. That's the whole "we're less bad than we were last year" mindset. The really big leap is to level 2, context-based. That's when you're measuring against real-world limits and you can finally say, we are operating sustainably. But the ultimate goal, the North Star, is level 3, regenerative. This is where your projects aren't just doing no harm, they're actively healing social and ecological systems. They're becoming a net positive force in the world.
And really, that's the ultimate promise of taking an approach like this. It gives us a solid framework to move all of our sustainability efforts out of the world of vague aspirations and wishful thinking and into the realm of hard science, real data, and verifiable proof.
So we're going to end this where we started, with a question, but it's a much more specific one now. It's not just, are we sustainable? It's, are we truly stewarding all the forms of capital that actually matter? Natural, human, social, and so on. Or are we still just chasing financial profits at the expense of everything and everyone else? The answer to that question? Well, that's what's going to define the future of our projects, and maybe our planet too.